Lesson 8 of Chapter 3 focuses on the Pythagorean Theorem. So we'll find the length of a hypotenuse in this lesson, we'll find the length of a leg in a right triangle, and we'll use Pythagorean Theorem for measurement then. We're going to be working with right triangles today, meaning that there's a right angle in these triangles. All the triangles we're working with has this sort of angle. And when there has this angle, we can use the Pythagorean Theorem to solve the ungiven length of a triangle. Usually the hypotenuse is what we're finding, which is the long side of the triangle. The formula goes like this: short side a squared plus short side b squared equals long side hypotenuse c squared. So for this example, short side is 3, so we have 3 squared plus 4 squared, short side, equals the long side 5 squared. Let's see if that's true. 3 squared is 9, plus 4 squared is 16, so 9 plus 16 equals 25. And look, 25, the square root of 25 equals 5. So that is very true. Let's use that as we solve these problems then. So we need to find the length of the hypotenuse to the nearest hundred. We need to use that formula. We need to find c squared here. We have a and we have b. They're both 2. So let's find c. So let's use our formula here. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. So if we would have short side a, that would be 2 squared plus 2 squared again, which equals c squared. So let's solve this then. 2 squared is 4 plus 2 squared again, which is 4, equals c squared, which would be 8. So 4 plus 4 is 8. So 8 is c squared. So we have to ask ourselves, what is the square root of 8? Because something times something would equal 8. Once we get that, we'll have our answer. So let's find that out. 8, and then the square root of that would be 2.83, we'll say, to the nearest hundredth here. So 2.83. So 2.83 would be the length of the c right here. So if we're going to replace 2.83 for c, it would be 2.83 here. So 2 squared plus 2 squared equals 2.83 squared. Let's use this with the coordinate plane now. We have a triangle with these coordinates, 3, 1. So we go 3, 1. We have 0, 5. So 0, 5. And then 0, 1. So here's our triangle. It's really easy to see this side length. It's really easy also to see this side length, but this diagonal one is a lot more difficult here because there's no coordinate lines showing us how long it is. But we know that this is 3, the short side. We also know this short side is from 5 to 1, so that'd be 4 spaces. So 4. But this is c. We don't know what c is. Let's use that formula then. Short side 3 squared, which would be 9, plus short side 4 squared, which is 16, equals c squared. We know that 9 plus 16 equals 25, so 25 equals c squared. So if we would square root both of these sides, then we'd have c over here, because c squared to the square root is c, and then 25 to the square root of that would be 5. So 5 would equal c, so we'd replace c with 5, and that would come out to be a true statement. Here we can go backwards a little bit. We could solve for an unknown side. See, this is the long side. It gave us that. So c squared is given. Then 9 squared is also given. So we'd have a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So we're going to plug in 9 for a. So 9 squared plus b squared equals c squared, which would be 15 squared. So 9 squared is 81. So plus b squared equals 15 squared, which is 225. And then we could treat this like an algebra problem. We have b squared here. Let's isolate that b squared. So we would subtract 81 from both sides. 225 minus 81 would be 144. So we're left with b squared over here and 144 on the right side. We could square root both of these. So the square root of b squared would just be b. The square root of 144 would be 12. So I know that b equals 12, and we just solved for this side of the triangle. Let's use a real-world application. Mark and Sarah start walking at the same point, so let's make a point here. But Mark walks 50 feet north, right? So that's 50. Well, Sarah walks 75 feet east. So make that 75. Right? How far apart are Mark and Sarah when they stop? Looks like Mark is right here currently. Sarah is right here. We could probably solve this by doing the hypotenuse of this triangle that they just created. So we could find C and find out how far apart they are. We have 50 squared plus 75 squared, B, and that would equal C squared. So 50 squared would be 2,500 plus 75 squared would be 5625. Big numbers. And that equals C squared. 5625 plus 2500 would be 8125. So 8125 equals C squared. And just like the other ones, we could square root both sides and solve for C. So the square root of 8125 would be 90.14, it looks like. So 90.14, and then we're going to say feet would be our answer.